Emma's wedding day was not what one might consider extravagant by any means. Nestled in the backyard of her childhood home, the ceremony was intimate, filled with small but meaningful details, and surrounded by people she loved most. Unlike the grand halls, elaborate flower arrangements, or designer gowns that dominate social media feeds, Emma's wedding was a reflection of who she was: humble, genuine, and deeply in love with her partner, David. The simplicity of the occasion, however, wasn't lost on a few of her guests, particularly her childhood friends, who had grown accustomed to a life of materialism and status. Among the attendees were Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, women Emma had grown up with but drifted apart from over the years. They were quick to notice the lack of grandeur, sharing whispered remarks and stifled laughter about the homemade decorations and the buffet-style dinner. "This feels more like a backyard barbecue than a wedding," Claire sneered, earning a giggle from Madison. Vanessa, always one to chase clout, even joked about how Instagram-worthy her own wedding had been, implying that Emma's wouldn't make the cut. Unbeknownst to these women, Emma had a powerful secret that would shift the dynamic of the entire day. Though she had chosen a simple path for her wedding, her life was far more extraordinary than anyone realized. She had forged an unexpected and impactful relationship with none other than Oprah Winfrey, a connection that was about to transform this seemingly quiet wedding into the talk of the town. By the end of the day, those mocking whispers would be replaced with stunned silence, as the true meaning of humility, authenticity, and success would be brought to light in the most unforgettable way. Emma had always been someone who valued the intangible things in life over material possessions. Growing up in a small town, she had learned the value of hard work, kindness, and community from her parents, who worked tirelessly to provide for their family. They weren't wealthy, but they were rich in love and support, and these values shaped Emma's perspective on life. While her peers dreamed of designer handbags and luxury cars, Emma focused on building meaningful connections and creating a life that was authentic to her values. Emma's journey to adulthood wasn't without its challenges. She worked multiple part-time jobs to put herself through college, often juggling schoolwork and night shifts at the local diner. Despite the obstacles, she graduated with honors, earning a degree in social work. Her passion for helping others led her to start a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing educational resources to underprivileged communities. Through this work, Emma met David, a teacher who shared her values and commitment to making a difference. Their relationship blossomed over shared dreams and quiet moments of mutual respect. And when David proposed, Emma knew she wanted a wedding that celebrated their love rather than societal expectations. When planning her wedding, Emma made intentional choices that reflected her personality. She opted for DIY decorations, recruited her family to prepare the food, and wore a simple yet elegant gown that she had found in a vintage store. To Emma, these decisions weren't compromises, but opportunities to infuse her day with meaning and love. However, her childhood friends, who had drifted toward a more materialistic lifestyle, saw these choices as shortcomings. They couldn't fathom why someone would choose simplicity when they had witnessed grand, luxurious weddings plastered across social media. Emma, however, remained steadfast, knowing that her wedding day wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about celebrating the love she and David had cultivated. Claire, Madison, and Vanessa had once been inseparable from Emma, but their paths had diverged significantly over the years. While Emma pursued a life centered on purpose and community, her friends gravitated toward wealth, status, and appearances. Claire married into money, Madison built her career as a social media influencer, and Vanessa worked in the luxury fashion industry, priding herself on her access to the latest trends and exclusive events. To them, success was measured in brand names, follower counts, and the ability to host events that left others envious. When they received Emma's wedding invitation, the trio couldn't hide their surprise and judgment. "A backyard wedding? Seriously?" Madison scoffed, scrolling through the carefully designed invitations that lacked any hint of extravagance. Vanessa, always quick to critique, chimed in, "I hope she doesn't expect us to show up in anything too fancy. I don't want to outshine the bride." Their judgment carried into the wedding day itself. As they arrived at the venue, the modest decorations and intimate setup immediately caught their attention, but not in a good way. "Where's the champagne fountain? Or the live band?" Claire whispered, looking around as if expecting hidden luxuries to suddenly appear. Madison, holding her phone, muttered, "I don't even know what to post. This doesn't exactly scream aesthetic." Though Emma greeted them warmly, the trio couldn't hide their condescension. They exchanged looks as she proudly pointed out the handmade centerpieces and introduced them to her family members who had cooked the delicious spread. "It's quaint," Vanessa finally said, her tone dripping with insincerity. They were careful to mask their disdain in front of Emma, but the mocking whispers and side glances between them revealed their true feelings. For them, this wasn't a celebration of love. It was an opportunity to compare and judge. As the ceremony began, the warmth and intimacy of the day began to shine through. The backyard was transformed into a haven of love, adorned with string lights, fresh flowers, and framed photos of Emma and David's journey together. The couple exchanged heartfelt vows that brought tears to the eyes of many guests who could feel the depth of their love and commitment. Emma's younger brother performed an acoustic rendition of their favorite song, and the laughter of children playing in the background added to the charm of the occasion. For those who knew Emma well, the simplicity of the day was a testament to her values. Her parents beamed with pride, knowing their daughter had stayed true to herself. David's family, equally down to earth, marveled at how perfectly the ceremony captured the couple's essence. Guests mingled, shared stories, and connected in a way that was far more meaningful than any lavish display could provide. However, Emma's friends remained unimpressed. As the bride and groom shared their first dance, the trio huddled together, whispering about the absence of luxury. "This feels more like a potluck than a wedding," Claire muttered, earning chuckles from the others. Madison scrolled through her phone, searching for a flattering angle to post a picture that wouldn't reveal the simplicity of the setting. Vanessa, always critical, remarked, "It's sweet, but let's be honest. It's not exactly what you'd call memorable." Unbeknownst to them, the day was about to take an unforgettable turn. As the reception continued, the trio's mocking remarks became more emboldened. They critiqued everything from the catering to the lack of a D, comparing Emma's wedding to the extravagant affairs they had attended in the past. "Do you think she even has a honeymoon planned?" Vanessa asked, smirking. "Or is that going to be another DIY adventure?" Emma overheard bits and pieces of their comments, her heart sinking slightly, but refusing to let their negativity ruin her special day. Instead, she focused on her husband, her family, and the other guests who were enjoying the celebration. She had always known that her values didn't align with those of her childhood friends, but their blatant disrespect still stung. Little did they know, a surprise guest was about to arrive and turn the tables in the most dramatic way possible. As the laughter and conversation continued, a car pulled up outside the backyard, and out stepped none other than Oprah Winfrey, dressed elegantly yet understatedly. Emma's closest friends and family exchanged stunned glances, whispering in disbelief. For Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, the moment they had been waiting for, the highlight of the wedding, had just arrived, though not in the way they expected. The sound of murmurs spread quickly across the backyard as guests began to notice the elegant, towering figure stepping out of the sleek black car. Oprah Winfrey had arrived. Her calm yet commanding presence immediately caught the attention of everyone at the wedding. For a moment, the entire event seemed to freeze as the attendees processed what was happening. Claire, Madison, and Vanessa stared, mouths agape, unable to believe their eyes. "Is that Oprah?" Madison whispered, clutching her phone in disbelief. Emma, who had been speaking to a few guests near the refreshments table, turned and broke into a wide smile. She walked toward Oprah with an ease that left everyone wondering how the two could possibly know each other. As they embraced, the gasps from the guests became audible. The woman who had been quietly mocked all day for her simplicity was now at the center of attention, sharing warm laughs with one of the most influential and admired figures in the world. Oprah's arrival had a ripple effect, immediately changing the energy of the wedding. While the other guests looked on in awe, Claire, Madison, and Vanessa began to shift uncomfortably. Their smugness evaporated as reality set in. The bride they had spent the day ridiculing wasn't just ordinary. She was extraordinary, and clearly more connected and accomplished than they had assumed. The friends exchanged frantic whispers, their earlier confidence now replaced with panic. "Why didn't she tell us she knows Oprah?" Vanessa muttered, her face red with embarrassment. Madison, still fumbling with her phone, whispered back, "She probably didn't think we needed to know." Claire, trying to mask her discomfort, muttered, "Well, it's not like this changes everything, right?" As Oprah and Emma made their way toward the reception area, guests began to applaud, and whispers filled the air. Oprah smiled and waved before congratulating Emma and David in a voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "I wouldn't miss this for the world," Oprah said warmly. "Emma, you've always been a shining example of what it means to stay true to yourself. This wedding is perfect, just like you." Those simple words carried weight, cutting through the earlier mockery and silencing anyone who might still have doubts about the wedding's simplicity. For Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, the moment was a bitter pill to swallow. They had spent the entire day mocking Emma's choices, only to realize that her authenticity and character had earned her the admiration of someone like Oprah. As the initial excitement of Oprah's arrival settled, many guests found themselves wondering how Emma and Oprah knew each other. It wasn't every day that a media mogul casually showed up at a backyard wedding. Seemingly aware of the curiosity in the air, Oprah took a moment during the reception to share the story of their connection. Years earlier, Emma had been selected to participate in a mentorship program for young women leaders, spearheaded by Oprah herself. The program focused on fostering leadership, confidence, and a sense of purpose among women from diverse backgrounds. Emma's application had stood out among thousands due to her heartfelt essay about wanting to make a difference in underprivileged communities. Oprah had not only chosen Emma as a mentee, but had taken a special interest in her journey, admiring her grit, humility, and determination to stay grounded. "Emma has always been a force of nature," Oprah said, addressing the crowd with her signature eloquence. "She may not seek the spotlight, but she has a way of illuminating everything around her with her kindness and authenticity. This wedding, just like Emma, is a beautiful reminder that love and simplicity often hold the most power." Emma blushed as Oprah placed a hand on her shoulder. The guests erupted into applause, and many who had initially been indifferent to the wedding's simplicity now saw it in a completely different light. Emma wasn't someone to be pitied for her modest choices. She was someone to be admired for staying true to her values. Sir. As the story of their connection spread throughout the reception, the air seemed to shift. Guests began to approach Emma, congratulating her not just on her marriage, but on the life she had built for herself. Meanwhile, Claire, Madison, and Vanessa found themselves shrinking into the background. The very simplicity they had mocked was now being celebrated, leaving them grappling with their misplaced values and harsh judgments. For Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, the evening turned into a whirlwind of discomfort and regret. The very things they had sneered at earlier, Emma's modest decor, her handwritten invitations, the homemade food, were now being praised as charming and heartfelt. Oprah's presence had cast a spotlight on Emma's character, and her words had left no room for doubt. Emma's simple wedding wasn't a sign of lack, but a celebration of abundance in love, authenticity, and meaningful relationships. As they stood awkwardly by the refreshments table, the trio couldn't help but replay their earlier comments in their minds. They remembered mocking the handmade centerpieces, joking about the lack of luxury, and rolling their eyes at Emma's joy. Now they felt exposed, knowing that their attitudes and behavior had been both cruel and baseless. "I feel like such an idiot," Claire muttered, breaking the silence. Madison, still holding her phone, sighed. "We were awful to her. She deserves so much better than what we gave her." Vanessa, always the most vocal of the group, looked genuinely pained as she added, "She didn't just prove us wrong, she did it with grace, and we don't deserve it." Their embarrassment deepened as they noticed other guests casting them sidelong glances. It was clear that their earlier attitudes hadn't gone unnoticed. For the first time, they were forced to confront the fact that their obsession with wealth and appearances had blinded them to the things that truly mattered. They had spent the entire day looking for flaws in Emma's wedding, only to realize that the event, and Emma herself, were far beyond their narrow definitions of success. As the reception reached its peak, Oprah stepped forward to deliver a toast. Her commanding presence immediately drew everyone's attention, and the crowd fell silent in anticipation of her words. "I've attended countless events in my life," Oprah began, her voice rich with sincerity. "From galas to weddings, I've seen every kind of celebration you can imagine. But what I've learned is that it's not the size of the venue or the price of the decorations that make a day memorable. It's the love, the authenticity, and the people who gather to celebrate something real. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the crowd before landing on Emma and David. Emma, you've created something truly special here. You've reminded us all that the most beautiful things in life don't need to be extravagant. They just need to be honest. Without directly calling out the jealous friends, Oprah subtly touched on the importance of humility and kindness. Sometimes we're so caught up in chasing perfection that we forget what really matters. But moments like these bring us back to what's important: love, connection, and staying true to who we are. The guests erupted into applause, moved by the depth and simplicity of Oprah's message. Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, standing on the fringes of the crowd, felt the weight of those words more deeply than anyone else. For them, Oprah's speech was a mirror, reflecting their shallow behavior and prompting them to reevaluate their priorities. As the wedding reception continued, the profound impact of Oprah's words lingered in the air. Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, who had spent the better part of the day mocking Emma's choices, now found themselves grappling with an overwhelming sense of guilt. Sitting together in a quieter corner of the backyard, their earlier bravado had dissolved entirely. "I can't believe how wrong we were," Claire admitted, her voice tinged with shame. "We came here thinking we were better than her, but she's been better than us all along." Madison nodded, clutching her untouched champagne flute. "We judged her for choosing simplicity, but the truth is, we were jealous. She's so much happier and more authentic than we are." Vanessa, normally the most unapologetic of the group, was unusually quiet. Finally, she spoke, her voice unusually soft. "I think we've forgotten what really matters. All we care about is showing off and looking perfect. Emma, though, she's built a life that's real. And we spent the whole day trying to tear her down because we were too insecure to face our own shortcomings." Their reflection wasn't just about Emma's wedding, but about their own lives as well. Claire admitted that her obsession with status had alienated her from genuine relationships. Madison realized that her carefully curated online persona had made her disconnected from reality. And Vanessa, who always prided herself on her sharp critiques, saw for the first time how her words often caused harm instead of building connections. Determined to make amends, the trio decided to approach Emma. Nervously, they walked over to where she and David were speaking with some guests. When Emma saw them, her expression was warm, not cold or accusatory as they had feared. Her kindness made their guilt even harder to bear. "We need to talk," Claire began, her voice trembling. "Emma, we owe you a massive apology. The way we acted today was cruel and completely unfair. We judged you and your choices without really understanding who you are or what matters to you." Emma listened, her expression calm and open. Madison added, "We've been so caught up in appearances and competition that we forgot what truly matters. But watching you today and seeing Oprah speak has made us realize how shallow we've been." Vanessa, fighting back tears, finished, "We're sorry, Emma, truly. You've shown us what real love and authenticity look like, and we can only hope you'll give us a chance to be better friends moving forward." Emma smiled warmly, her grace once again shining through. "It means a lot that you're saying this," she said. "I'll admit, I heard some of the things you said earlier, and it did hurt. But I know everyone has their own journey, and I'm glad this day has helped you reflect. We've all made mistakes. We just need to learn from them." Her words left the trio deeply moved. They weren't just forgiven, they were given a chance to grow. The moment marked the start of a new chapter in their friendship, one built on mutual respect and understanding rather than competition and judgment. Emma's simple wedding, initially mocked for its modesty, became a transformative event that left a lasting impression on everyone who attended. It wasn't just a celebration of love between Emma and David. It was a powerful reminder of what truly matters in life: authenticity, humility, and meaningful connections. As the night wore on, guests laughed, danced, and shared stories under the soft glow of string lights. The warmth and joy of the evening were palpable, and the memory of Oprah's surprise arrival added an extra layer of magic to the day. Emma and David took to the dance floor for one last waltz, their smiles radiating pure happiness. Around them, their loved ones cheered and clapped, celebrating not just the couple's union, but the powerful values they stood for. For Claire, Madison, and Vanessa, the wedding became a turning point in their lives. Oprah's speech and Emma's grace had forced them to confront their biases and reevaluate their priorities. In the weeks and months that followed, they made conscious efforts to let go of their materialistic tendencies and focus on building deeper, more meaningful connections. They also worked to rebuild their friendship with Emma, grateful for her willingness to forgive and inspire. Emma's story spread far beyond the walls of her backyard. Guests shared their experiences online, and the story of Oprah's surprise visit and her powerful toast went viral. But for Emma, the real success of the day wasn't the fame or recognition. It was the love, unity, and lessons that emerged from her wedding. As the night came to an end, Emma stood with David, looking up at the stars. "I couldn't have asked for a better day," she said, her voice filled with contentment. David wrapped his arm around her, nodding. "It was perfect because it was true to us." The story of Emma's wedding became a timeless reminder that love, humility, and staying true to oneself will always outshine the superficial. And as Oprah herself had said, the most beautiful moments in life aren't the ones you stage, they're the ones that come from the heart.